Well, your afternoon is sounding like you really didn't enjoy your lunch. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I know
this is exactly what happens when people had a very good meal. The afternoons are just, we ate and we don't care about you anymore. We'd like to go take a nap somewhere. But we're ready to go?
Yes.
Are we ready to go? Are we sure? Yes. Oh, I think we're good.
Absolutely. How were the breakaway sessions for you before lunch? Yeah, a round of applause if they were amazing.
Awesome.
Yeah, awesome.
How was the one you went in?
The one on innovation in agriculture. Oh my goodness, we went into ethical questions, indigenous knowledge systems. It was really amazing, and how that whole intersection in terms of different professions, but still the food sector is key, and all of us, one way or the other, we're in it.
I'm not even into agriculture and I'm jealous. I don't know why. I was in a very good session. We talked about entrepreneurship, funding, where you need to go get the money, why the banks won't give you money as an entrepreneur, an SME, but also what you need to do and where you need to go and how to cross. Oh, it was amazing. As an entrepreneur, you should be jealous. Say you're jealous.
Okay, I'm jealous.
Just to make me feel better.
All right, okay. I'm jealous, Kayla. All right, so we're going to be going into breakaway sessions just now, and when we do that, I'm going to ask you to take your program of events out, and I want you to cross out or cancel the names of the auditoriums or the facilities we are not using, and then we will give you the right ones. But for now, we've got a power talk coming up, Kayula.
Yes, and I am very excited to introduce the man 3 people in the last 5 minutes I've been looking for, but I'm sure we have found him. So we're going into an Ignite talk on empowering the next generation, mentorship as a tool for leadership growth. A short inspiration and action-oriented talk by an alum. Please put your hands together for Constantine Nyanzero. And I hope I pronounced that right. So again.
Someone sits.
Good afternoon. How are you guys doing? Did you have a good time last night? I saw some of you dancing. We don't need any power talks. You guys are good. You guys are good. Okay, great. My name is Constantine Nyanzero from Zimbabwe, and I'm going to speak to you for about 5 minutes on mentorship as an engine for leadership and growth. Are we good? Okay, great. Volume? How's that? Okay, great. Let me lean it in. I do not own an iPad, so you forgive me. I'm not sure if the screen, but we'll make do, right? There's an African proverb that says, a tree without roots cannot stand the storm. Leadership without mentorship is just that, rootless, directionless, and doomed to fail. And yet, ladies and gentlemen, we have seen nations rise, not by choice, but by the mentorship, discipline, and vision. I present to you the story of the Asian Tigers, a story that all of you know, but we're going to put it into context in an African vision. The question is not whether they succeeded, but how they did it and what Africa must learn. The 1950s and the 1960s present a shared beginning. That is where Africa was starting out the liberation movement. And that is where people were organizing and meeting in Tanzania. And to a large extent, my father said to me, I think there was something in the water in Tanzania because everyone who came out of Tanzania does not want to let go and pass on to the next generation. But I think it's a topic for another day. At the dawn of independence, Africa and the Asian Tigers, Singapore, South Korea, Taiwan, and Hong Kong, they stood at the same crossroads where Africa was. We were all equal, we were all poor, we were all underdeveloped, and we were all full of potential. But why did they take off while many African nations remain stagnant? Success is never an accident, it is designed. The Asian Tigers did not leave their future to hope, to luck, or to a foreign aid. They designed success through structured mentorship, leadership training, and knowledge transfer. It was not the hand of fate, it was the hand of guidance. The mentors who engineered the rise. In Singapore, the president then, Lee Kuan Yew, did not just lead. He built leaders. He studied Japan's economic model, Britain's governance, America's market strategies, and mentored a generation of technocrats to run the nation like a business. In South Korea, Park Chung-hee understood that leadership without mentorship is wasted knowledge. He handpicked and mentored industrialists, empowering them to create the global giants we know today, Samsung, Hyundai, and LG. Government mentoring industry, which is something which is critical. Their governments did not sit back and watch. They taught, trained, and invested their people. They ensured that mentorship was not an informal conversation, it was a national strategy. And so industry flourished, economies expanded, and their people were equipped with the skills and vision to lead. And make no mistake about it, these nations learned from others. They studied Japan's economic rise after World War II, they observed American industrial strategies, and they understood European governance models. They realized that learning from others is not submission, it is intelligence. They did not copy, they refined, they improved, and they applied. In 1960, Africa and the Asian tigers had similar GDP levels. But by the year 2000, these nations were 10 times richer, more industrialized, and globally competitive. Why? Because they trained leaders, empowered industries, and mentored the next generation. And what was the result? Exponential growth. Then there's the political factor, which is leadership and stability. The rise of the Asian tigers was not just about mentorship. It was about leadership with vision, stability, and political will. In South Korea, Park Chung-hee made industrial mentorship a national policy, ensuring businesses were not just funded but guided. In Singapore, Lee Kuan Yew structured leadership succession, mentoring technocrats and business leaders to sustain his vision. In Taiwan and Hong Kong, long-term stability allowed leaders to invest in mentorship-driven economic planning. But then Africa did not begin its post-independence journey on a level playing field. Unlike the Asian tigers, which had strong state institutions, Africa inherited colonial structures designed for extraction, not development. Our colonial economies were built to serve Europe, not to industrialize. Education systems focused on administration, not innovation. Our political structures were imposed rather than locally developed. But history, ladies and gentlemen, is not destiny. The future is what we build today. And then you go to the African Continental Free Trade Agreement. It really must not be about blindly following Western economic models. It must not be another document signed in grand halls only to gather dust. It must be about evaluating artificial borders that still live on like the ghost of King Leopold II, dividing brothers and borders, and weakening Africa's economic strength. These borders were never meant to unite us, they were designed to divide us. Our economies remain structured for raw material extraction, not industrialization. We must not just trade within Africa, we must produce, manufacture, and innovate within Africa. A free trade agreement is meaningless if we are not free from economic fragmentation. The Asian tigers created Samsung, Hyundai, and TSMC, but we are Africa's own business giants. Governments must not just fund businesses, but mentor them in strategy and scalability. The Asian tigers created leadership pipelines and ensuring smooth transitions. Africa must shift from raw materials exporters to industrial producers. We need educational reform that builds leadership and innovation, not just degrees. A degree without critical thinking is like a car without fuel. It looks good, but it goes nowhere. African education must integrate leadership and mentorship, business incubation, internships, and actual apprenticeships. Universities must teach students how to create jobs, not just apply for them. Governments cannot do everything alone. The private sector must play its role. Governments must create policies that incentivize mentorship in industries. The private sector must develop structured mentorship programs for young professionals as well. The world has changed, and mentorship must go digital. African mentorship programs must leverage digital platforms, online leadership courses, virtual incubators. Governments should invest in tech-driven skills development to prepare youth for the future. A nation that does not produce for itself is a nation at mercy of others. Mentorship should just focus on building industries and not just businesses. African countries must stop relying on foreign imports and start manufacturing by themselves. And finally, our youth is our greatest resource if it is properly mentored. A continent with the world's youngest population should be the most innovative, yet Africa still imports everything, including solutions and tissues. Mentorship must focus on empowering the youth to become job creators and not seekers. Africa must create youth-led innovation hubs and business mentorship networks. The call to action for everyone who's there. Brothers and sisters, we have two choices. We can either continue blaming history, or we can learn from it and take control of our future. If we do not mentor, we will continue importing leadership and expertise. If we do not guide the next generation, Africa's potential will remain just that, potential. And my final thought with you is, we are always saying, I'm a 2000, these young kids are ETC. But the child who is not embraced by the village will burn it down to feel its warmth. Thank you.
No, one of those where you do not know whether to say wow or oh my. Yeah. Thank you. Another round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, for Constantine.
That was very inspiring. Like everything. Now I want all that so I can also like post it somewhere else for other people.
Absolutely.
We're ready for breakout sessions?
Absolutely ready. So please take out your copy of your program and so that you can just note down where we'll be having what. So we are having 3 conversations in these breakaways, and the first one is on business models in complex economies, which is in right here. Let's just talk about that.
So yeah, I do have business and economies.
Business
And
models in
one
complex economies.
Oh, that. And I know we're all coming from like different countries, different economies, and challenges that are kind of similar.
Yeah.
So that would be an interesting one to go
Absolutely.
into.
So it's saying just as some countries have leapfrogged over wired telephone networks to wireless, the rapidly growing economies of Africa can go beyond tried and true business models to new mechanisms more suited to ever-changing local, regional, and international markets. Alumni will discuss business models that respond to the challenges of operating in Africa profitably with ingenuity to serve their customers. So this is happening right here. Everybody say
Okay.
Kalala.
Kalala. We'll remember that. Okay. Interesting panelists as well. And we're going to also have enhancing media and information literacy, focus on engaging with media in the digital era with the focus on governance. Has this changed? Which room are we going into?
It's not in Pagota. Just cancel that out and write Matetsi. Right, Matetsi. It's happening in Matetsi.
Matetsi,
which is just here, just across.
across the other aisle.
So in this one, panelists will share how they equip individuals with the skills and knowledge to critically analyze, evaluate, and create media content in today's information-rich world, where media plays a significant role in shaping opinions and behaviors.
Are we ready for that one? Who's interested in that one? Oh, okay, I see a couple hands. That's good. And conversation 3?
The final conversation is on maximizing opportunities under AGOA and AFCAFTA. It's happening in Kazuma room. Kazuma is just there as well. Now, alumni will discuss strategies for African businesses to leverage the African Growth and Opportunity Act and the African Continental Free Trade Agreement, AFCAFTA, to access new markets, boost exports, and enhance regional trade. The session will explore efforts to overcome trade barriers based on alumni experiences. So those are the 3 conversations that we'll have. Thereafter, we're going for the quick tea break.
Yes, we will be going for tea break, day 1 of evaluation, and then we'll have networking and exhibitions.
Which is
Expo?
Absolutely.
That's Kalundu?
No, strike that out. Strike
Okay.
Kalundu out.
It's not Kalundu
and
anymore?
write Gwai. Is that okay? Everybody say
Okay.
Gwai. Hey, there we go. There
We're
we go.
learning. Faith will handle that one properly. And then we'll end the program after that. You'll be happy to know that then there'll be, whatever you want to do afterwards. So are we ready for these sessions? Yes. Despite the food we ate?
Absolutely. Thanks very much.
All right, thank you. We'll see you afterwards.
Absolutely.